Hello everyone and welcome to a new stream here. So guys, I'm very happy to be back and hopefully we'll be streaming more. So on a special location today guys. So if you all are here guys, let me know in the chat who's here. We're not streaming on chess.com TV today, but rather we're for the local guys, for the current subscribers and fans. Interesting shoot here today. So being a little bit colorful here guys. So let me know when a couple of you guys join in. Then I'll start up playing some games, and we usually go in our streams. We like to play some games, keep it instructive. I would definitely like to learn a lot. Okay, 1 second guys, just need to play some things here.
Music licensing reimagined.
Alright guys, so I guess let's start up here. Let's give a big welcome to everyone. And let's start up right here. So it might be a little bit late in Europe, but I believe some people are still awake in Europe, and especially in the American continent. Definitely would have some guys up.
Artlist.io.
All right, so we're taking some time to find a challenge here. Oh, hello Stefan, how are you, my friend? Good to see you here.
Music licensing reimagined.
Play this guy here. Huh. Let's try 90 F3. I always like to experiment. Late stream, my friend. I'm sorry, but now I'm not in Serbia. So remember, the time zone is different, Stefan. Where I am now, it's 6:34. Let's play this knight c3. Trying to play the Jobava London. If he plays d5, we go for bishop f4. So this is a quite interesting setup. Oh wow, congratulations, that's very good, man. Making some big progress. Play knight b5, we want to misplace his knight a6. Then we play simply pawn to e3. He castles. So now one thing about these, yes it is, my friend. We are here. I can show you my shelf of trophies soon. I have a huge collection here. Yeah, so make some space for the bishop on f4. All right.
Artlist.io.
Knight to e4.
Music licensing reimagined.
What's going on here? Possibly c6 and kick my knight. I don't remember what's the. I actually don't remember the move here. I believe one move was pawn to c3 and c6, knight to a3. after this game, maybe after this game, I'll show you.
Artlist
It's not easy to do during the game, but yeah, I'm sure after the game. So this position is quite funny for white. So the knight is funny on a6. This knight is funny on a3. He wants to play knight capture c3 here.
Music licensing reimagined.
I remember there was one option to ignore it. But I believe also I can play this rook c1. Very funny. This is a very strange system actually with white. But usually against players who... Yes, Mr. Brian Levy. You can ask me your questions, sir. I'm here to answer to the best of my knowledge. Which most of the time for you guys, I have an answer 99% of the time. So I'm going to play simply bishop e2 castles. And we're basically playing against his bishop on g7. That, okay, you think this is strong bishop, power of the position. However, it's looking at his pawn on d4. So bishop is not too good now. That's why black would like to somehow organize a e5 break. Or later play c5. The knight on a6 is not too good as well. However, white's pieces are not too ideally placed too, but it's a very nice strategic setup. How am I doing? I always am doing good, but I must say I'm a bit tired. I've traveled a lot these last 2 weeks. I honestly, first I had this delay with Delta Airlines where I was late. I arrived later more than 50 hours than I should have, and for like 3 days I was slept like 4 hours because of this Delta Airlines delay. I traveled again another not so short journey, so feel kind of burnt out, but I'm good. Other than that, I'm doing quite well, but thank you for asking. So b5, it's very clear you want to play b4. I mean, no question about that. It's gonna attack my knight. It's quite an ambitious move. Bishop e2 is gonna play b4. I'm thinking, should I play knight d2? The knight d2 still is gonna play this b4, cb, maybe queen b4. Knight c2 is gonna take queen a2. This position does not look too easy. b4 is a huge threat.
Music licensing reimagined.
Yeah, bishop d3 again. This b4. How will we react to that? Just give me 1 second, my friends, for any questions. We're in a little bit tough position here, and I wouldn't like to play fast and badly. Knight d2, b4. I have knight d2, b4, knight b3. That looks a little bit strange. Yeah, it looks a little bit weird, honestly. I can't believe a move like that could work. Let's see, knight c2, queen b4, queen a2, sorry. Rook a1, he just takes queen b2. Yes, position is not easy. Queen b3, b4. Maybe it could be queen b3, I'm thinking. My bishop covers rook b, rook b8, queen b3, b4, and just move my knight. How about where knight c2 he takes on c3, knight b1. It's a little bit passive. I don't like that too much, to be honest. That's quite a strong move, to say the truth. Knight d2, b4, I'm thinking. Knight b3, queen b6. Let's try this. I mean, position a little bit strange here. Maybe we could even play knight c3. Knight c3, rook c3, b4. So let me read your comment now, Mr. Brian Levy.
Artlist.io.
In your YouTube video, you mentioned at one point sending games for me to take a look at. Today. Oh yeah, that would be fine. What we usually do with subscriber games, we had this some time ago. I wanted to, when we're getting to know the subscribers better, I wanted some of them to send in their best games. And I actually made a YouTube video featuring some of those games. However, what we do now, as it's easier for me, and for my YouTube videos, I try to make the editing a little bit high. That's because in today's YouTube world, it's not only you have to be a good teacher, but also I would say fortunately or unfortunately, you need to be good at this creative, entertaining kind of stuff. So for my YouTube videos, I put a lot to try to increase the editing, and we try to make it very high quality. However, for the streams, we focus just on instructive chess. I don't care about creative or how it looks editing. I just want people to learn. So for the streams, we definitely do look at some subscriber games. So you could send it in here. YouTube doesn't accept links. I think you can't send any links on YouTube. However, you could see if you could paste the game notation. I'll look at it. About his donations, I don't have any way to actually accept it. Because in my country, PayPal doesn't really work, and we're not monetized yet on YouTube, so don't worry about it for now. When I just become a YouTuber, when I become a YouTube monetized member, you could join the community. But now it's alright. Just send in your game. I'll take a look at it. So it's a good thing he's taking some time. But to be honest, I don't like my position. I'm still thinking if he plays knight c3, even rook c3, b4. But b4, at least I can move rook b3, and position won't be the worst. My rook would be, maybe you could call the rook even active. Maybe I could check that out, but for now, okay, it's kind of some relief. It's knight on. Okay, he wants to play e5, which, to be fair, is quite solid and nothing's wrong with that. However, I should be quite happy here to finish my development, because really I was kind of slack. I'm thinking to play bishop d3 just to limit. I'm thinking is the bishop really good, even good on d3. Or is it check play bishop e2, e5, takes castles. Yeah, bishop d3 is more active. Let's keep it here. Oh, hello, my sir. Hello, friend. What's this guy doing here? I'll castle here. Now, very funny, after e5, a lot of people will automatically take that. However, I actually don't need to take that pawn. I could just go back. Yeah. Maintain the tension in the position is usually a good idea. I don't like this knight on e3. Guys, I mean, come on, what's it doing there? That knight is a slacker knight. He wants to play e5, and guys, we've been studying Karpov, so I'm looking at some prophylactic moves. However, e4 kind of appeals to me to break in the center of e4. Again, my knight on a3. I ain't like it. Not one bit. Knight c2. Queen a2. I'm going to take that pawn. But no, knight c2, queen a2, rook a1. I think his queen will get trapped. His queen will get trapped. I'm thinking that of playing e4, breaking in the center, which is quite logical. However, it looks like a good move. e4. Can he play e5? Yeah, but then e4, e5, I'll have to take d5, fe5. Perhaps move my bishop. I generally have less space, so that would not be a bad idea. However, he's going to get the full center. Let's prefer knight c2. e5, I'll just move bishop. Use bishop g3. e4, let's play bishop c2. Bishop e2. Oh, hello, my friends. Hello, Mr. Josiah. Thank you for joining in. All right. All right, go ahead, Mr. Brian. If you could share your game. That's an interesting take, Mr. Solomon. Whoever plays more aggressive wins. Okay, let me think about it. I mean, usually in shorter time controls, it is like that. Huh. Can I move my knight anywhere constructive? Let's try this. Yeah, usually that makes some sense actually. Who plays more aggressive wins to some extent. Usually when time is low, the side who's attacking has an easier game. Yeah, I'm thinking just to play bishop e2. I don't want to take and diminish my center. Not too sure about putting bishop here. Stuck in here.
Music licensing reimagined.
At least I'm covering the e4 square. His bishop is not too good on b7. Yeah, let's try this. With if takes, I could take with my queen. And the queen is coming to e6. Yeah, position is quite a little bit tense. Again, his bishop is quite bad on b7, but I have this idea h4, h5. Who's quite solid.
Music licensing.
As Mr. Solomon said, need to play quite a lot more aggressive, in fact. Do I have rook e1 takes bishop d4, queen e6? Huh. Queen e6, king h8. Taking too long here, guys. I can't be taking this long. Can't be taking this long at all, guys.
Music licensing.
Oof, I'll just play rook e2. I don't have control of this e-file. I could kick him out next with bishop d3. It's not bad. But the most important thing here is to play fast. Especially with my time coming low.
Music licensing reimagined.
Play bishop f4. I play solid move g3 next. I need to find some good moves that I can play quickly.
Artlist.io.
Let's try this here. Sacrifice a pawn. I don't know if that was a good idea.
Music licensing reimagined.
We will see. I think maybe I could get some definite counterplay here.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.
We need to flag him here, guys. Let's come with my king to d4 actually.
Artlist.io.
Alright, see if we can try this.
Music licensing reimagined.
Position. This position is... Guys, what do you think about that one? Guys, what do you think? Look at this final position. It's like this reminds me of some king walk. Very interesting, guys. What do you all think about that? Let me know in the comments how do you all like that game. Very...
Artlist.io.
Wasn't the cleanest game. I really like this this end, this king walk. Finally won. So before we go forward, I wanted to show Stefan asked to see some of my trophy collection. So bear with me one moment here. I'll just have to turn my camera.
Licensing reimagined.
1 second, guys. So alright, well, this is me here. I don't know if you all see. Yeah, some of my trophies. Yeah. There's a couple of them. I don't know if you could see it too good. And we have on this side too. Have some medals. There's some more, but you know, this is what I have with me now. So that was for you, Mr. Stefan, who specifically asked to see that. But when I moved to Serbia, I didn't take anything. I mean, why would I take trophies there? It's too not needed. So we get more. But yeah, wow, that was quite a nice king walk, guys. Yeah, like the position here, just to talk about it a bit, then we'll go to your game, Brian Levy. Don't worry, I will check that out. Yeah, I mean, this Joe London line is crazy. Here when he played b5, I kind of seen this move for... I didn't recall, like usually in Blitz, I like to play opponents I'm not too familiar with. First of all, I don't want people seeing my deep in their preparation, of course. And I want to just get new positions I could play. So apparently I could just play bishop d3 here and what after b4. Guys, look at chess. I play knight c4 here. b4, knight c4, d4, and bishop e4. Funny idea, bishop d3, b4, knight c4. Didn't cross my mind. But yeah, knight d2, it was okay, rook e8. Bishop d3, castle here. And here this f6, it felt strange because after e5, of course I won't want to take and give him full control over the center. I just play bishop g3. Rook d is a little bit weird. Knight b4, apparently I had this move a4. It was quite interesting here with this rook a1 idea that makes quite some sense. He actually can't take with the queen because of rook a1, queen b3, and his queen will eventually get trapped. But this position was a little bit strange. Like I knew, okay, his bishop on b7 is quite bad and he can't play c5, he can't improve it here. So I was just playing slowly. Bishop b1, apparently quite a good move, apparently the best move. My main idea was, at some point I could play e4, but it's not likely. But I want some h4, h5 to soften up his king. Takes f5, have to defend his pawn. So again, the position is, I have a small weakness on d4, but his pieces can't enter anywhere. It's quite important. He has no rook e4, because I'm blocking it with my bishop. Play rook e6, but then rook e1. Again, if he took, I want to take with my queen and bishop d4. I have simple tactic. Take. Queen e6. And of course, we have this. Okay, even queen e7. Bishop e5 is winning. And this position here, apparently queen c3, then bishop e5. Quite nice. But we played this solid. We played with a plan. It's always good to play with some plan. We should never play without some plan. Queen c3. Improve my bishop. Bishop f4. So just time is low, so g3. Making sure everything is nice and solid. Bishop c2. Rook e1. Apparently, he could have taken the pawn, and yeah, it was a kind of bluff by me. Queen e6. Yeah, this queen f7. So it was a little bit rushed by me. Play bishop e5. We played this, and now the game went fully in our hands here. We outplayed him here. Slowly brought my king in, and funny but nice game. b3, a4, a5, queen b6. Apparently could have taken, but remember we have less than a minute here, but quite nice idea here. Very nice game. So alright, let's take a look at our subscribers game today. So a relatively new subscriber, Mr. Brian Levy, sent in his game here. So let's take a look at this here. So are you white or black, my friend? Alright. So he played e4, c6, d4, d5, e5, bishop f5, h4, h5, bishop d3, bishop takes, queen takes d3, e6, bishop g5. Alright. So guys, I won't be looking at the comments while I'm reviewing the game because I need to keep my my comments on the notation itself so I can see the notation. So I'll analyze the game first and then we'll go back to talk and discussing the game. So e6, bishop g5. Yeah, personally, I actually knew this I played the Caro-Kann with black. It's been one of my main weapons for the last actually 6 years or so. I like the Caro-Kann quite much. And in my opinion, I actually like this line for black. You have no problem, but that's just me. I like these set structures, like black knows his goal is he gets the f5 square, he has to play solidly, and white, if white doesn't follow up his initiative and aggression, he can easily lose control. So both sides kind of know what their objectives are in this position here. White has to bring that initiative, bring that fire, just bring that ferocity here. If he doesn't, black will have a very good position, and black has to keep solid, keep on guard, and it really could go very well here. So bishop e7 was played here. That already strikes me as that the main move. Yeah, that strikes me as a little bit weird, because usually blacks doesn't really want to trade these dark squared bishops. Yeah, I know usually they play with they move the queen a5 check. I know that's one move. You know, there's the idea queen a5 check, where they have sometimes queen a6 idea. It's usually quite thematic here. So bishop e7 here was played. Now knight f3, knight e7. So yeah, usually the good thing is like when black doesn't know this line too well, these are very common moves. He just develops his knight, develops his bishop, and white gets a very good position. So against unprepared opponents, this is an excellent weapon. Knight e7 here, knight bd2. So Brian is developing quite well. Now, it's quite interesting to actually see here, Brian, that knight c3 is the best move. Now, the knight may look stupid here. However, after knight e2 and the knight coming to f4, even g3, this is quite menacing for black here. Whereas the knight on d2 doesn't have an immediate future here. I mean, it's good, it's nice and solid. So yeah, knight c3 would have been quite interesting. However, I believe knight e2 is also quite good here. It's hard to decide between both of them. They both have their different aspects here, like knight c3 is with the idea, knight e2 after c5, c3, and then you wanna bring the knight, maybe this g3, king f1, king g2, put the knight on f4, and black could be under some pressure here. But let's see how you play it, perhaps. Maybe it was still in preparation here. You wouldn't be surprised. I know usually guys from America are very well prepared. He played a6 here, so again, quite strange here how black is playing. He played c3, quite prophylactic move, anticipating c5. c5 came, and now you played c1. To be honest with you, my friends, a little bit a strange move, this rook c1 to me. Now I understand that you cd4, you want the open c file. However, one thing to know about these positions, believe me, because I played the Caro-Kann for 6 years and I play this for white as well and I play this for black. Time and dynamism is very important here. So that's why perhaps you have two ideas. Usually, white has to decide, is he going to castle, is he going to play g3, king f1, king g2. But I believe you could have castled here. And one thing to note is, it's usually not too normal for these advanced structures. However, black is not developed. His king is here, his knight is here. Even the move c4 is quite good. Because when the pawn is on c6, black has quite solid protection against the d5 point. And even here, c4 was quite good, just to tell you. But even here, c4 is actually the best move here. Because now c takes, e takes, he will always have to watch out for this e6 push. And definitely dc4, knight c4, this is already loosened for him. And cd4 here, even you could just castle here, you could just, development is quite essential here. And black has a hard time getting to get his forces here. So this would have been quite well here. c1. Alright, I guess I see the point behind it. It's not a move without any idea. So I always like moves with ideas. Rook c8 he played, quite funny to say. Now you castle, very good. And here he played c4, which releases all the tension in the center and it now gives you a free hand to play on the king side. Because his plans with b5, b4 is definitely going to be too slow. He didn't castle, center's lock. And okay, black is probably thinking, these structures, white doesn't have the light squared bishop. So why can't he place this pawn on light squares, which is the famous Capablanca rule I was actually talking about. Like usually Capablanca, he would give one bishop and then place the pawns on the opposite color. However, as Aaron Nimzovich once said in his book, My System, he spoke about his pawn on e5 and he knew that this pawn on e5 was a bone in the throat of black's position here. It stops the knight on e5. It makes way to all these dynamic possibilities and it makes the opponent's life very difficult here. This pawn on e5, but in fact, playing like the advanced French, advanced Caro-Kann, someone could base a large part of this repertoire playing these structures. So after c4 here, let's see where he went. So he played here queen c2. Like interesting. Queen 3 is interesting, keeping an eye here. However, in moments like these, especially in rapid games, it's not too easy to make a decision on queen c2. Looks definitely alright. Knight h6 was played. And of course, you take it, so black can't castle anymore, which is a common downside here. Now, at first, it looks like black is quite solid here. Black here, center seems closed. And usually, black has less space because of the cramp here on e5. So he exchanged some pieces. So black, maybe he thinks he's okay. However, we'll see things are not that clear here. So I played g3. Very funny, but black in positions like this, black, he doesn't have too much counterplay here and he needs to see some sort of action. So it was very interesting to try this move g5 here. for black. After pawn takes, bishop takes, if knight takes, queen takes already, here black is getting some counterplay here. Because again, black's king is very hard to reach it here. And meanwhile, black's going to play h4 here. And the white king will now get in some trouble here. So g5 would have been an interesting try for him to play. However, in the game here, he decided on something different. He played here king to f8, which is a quite passive move. You know, looks like it's quite solid and nice. However, still the ball is in white's court here, and white definitely has the upper hand in the situation here. Free space here, more active pieces here. And here I see you made a quite interesting decision here. You decided to play a4 and stop black's play on the queen side. However, I remember, there was a famous scene when I was watching Garry Kasparov growing up. Kasparov, he used to play the King's Indian, and one thing he said stuck with me. For example, if your opponent has the advantage on the queen side, Kasparov won't touch any pawns on the queen side. He would just play on the king side. So one idea, you could have continued on the king side. However, it's not so clear how exactly white is going to continue. One quite interesting idea that I'm seeing here is king g2. And somebody may laugh, but actually to play knight g1, knight h3, knight f4, and put some pressure on this pawn on h5, and then maneuver the other knight to f3, and even the queen could come to e2, and you somehow provoke this pawn here on h5. And if black plays g6, then it locks in his rook on h6, and his dark squares are quite weak here. So definitely that is one idea. However, especially in time controls like this, those ideas are hard to find. b3 playing on the queen side, which is generally against principle. It might work here, and in fact it could, because black's pieces are miscoordinated here. So from one other point of view, it makes sense to open position. So that's the tough thing about chess. There are all these principles, and you need to have that skill to know how to apply which principle here. And here we see the most important factor is black's king and rook are kind of out of the game, and the rook on h6, black is like playing a rook on the wrong side of the board. So you played a4 here, which, okay, it's not a bad move, but there was no reason to play a4. If you wanted to play on the queen side, you could play b3, b5, and even you could take like this. Of course, if he takes like this, then you have the e4 square. This is very good. And here you have the b file now. Now this makes a lot of sense here. So black's again is rook. It's not in the game. So you played a4, which I won't criticize. That's quite a decent move as well. Now guys, I'll reply to the comments soon. I have to monitor the notation of the game here. So a4 was played, rook g6, king g2. Now one thing I would point out is usually when you make a plan, one skill that the world champion Karpov had is he was very consistent. He would choose a plan, he would just go ahead with it. So a4, you want to play on the queen side, you play b3, you continue. Okay, king g2 is still quite a solid move. King g2, and the opponent's funny, he's trying to manually castle. Rook on g6 is quite strange. Now black can't king g8, yeah, he can't take this pawn because we have very nice tactic queen g6, which I hope you spotted. I believe you did. King g8, and now b3 was played. So now you go with the plan. It's alright, so playing quite logical, makes some sense. And here I think you played quite nicely. You took on b5 and you switch your attention to the queen side. Very nice. While his rook on g6 is misplaced here. So rook a1, knight f8, and yeah, oh, you enter the position here with rook a7, and this is not looking too good for black anymore. So rook a7, he played rook c7. Now his only active rook he wants to trade. Meanwhile, the other rook is marooned on g6 here. So rook c7, rook fa1, quite a good move here, and takes. And again, we see the problem on this rook. Now, before it was a quite minor detail. We thought, okay, the rook on his h6, no big problem. But now we see that that's actually the main factor why black is actually might even lose the game. So this rook to takes. And now he tried bishop. Oof, he got quite desperate here. Bishop h4, knight h1, queen h4. Of course, we have this queen g6. So he backed out. He played rook g4, and now he just up a piece. But he got desperate here. Knight HF3. Yes, he played this H4. Took here. Takes BC4, BC4. Knight F1. HG3. FG3. Queen B8. Queen A4. I would generally be careful playing like this. However, White's king is safe. White's king is not in any danger. Queen B2. Knight 1 D2. Queen C3. I know black is. Yeah, Queen E8 and Queen D3. And simply Queen F7 and A1 here. Well, that was a nice game. That was quite a nice game here. So now I'll read the comments here. So we have yeah. Yes, I remember this famous game between Dubov and Timiev, and they rook out of play. Then there's one famous saying that one bad piece and the whole position is bad. So we saw that applied here. Like sometimes you have one bad piece and it makes the whole position bad. Yeah, I see you baited him here, but it was quite a good game, but we took away some points there. We had so we have a question here. Do chess players lead their preparation to get psychological advantage? In fact, Kasparov, he was famous for publishing wrong analysis. He would publish and say that he published his preparation. However, that was not his preparation, or he knew it had some mistakes, so that when people play him, they would think that they know his preparation. However, in the end, it would end up to being something completely different. So some chess players are like that. But yes, we saw this game here. It was quite a decent game. Not a bad one at all. Well played. However, what we could take away is some more consistency with the plans. We had this new idea, Knight C3, Knight E2. And yeah, that was consistency with the plans. We focused on one area. Okay, no problem, my friend. Thank you for joining in. I'll see you there. See you next time, alright? Me, no. We try only these, we don't need to do those things like they used to do in the old Soviet times. I didn't try that before. Alright, let's continue here.
Music licensing reimagined.
Mr. Brian Levy, what is your fee there, Is it by the game here toward that? It looks like you're above 2,000. Yes, it was a good game. It was a good game, I must say that. But usually black has to be well prepared in those variations here. Yes, of course. In fact, that's famous from the French defense that you shouldn't release the tension. As Aaron Nemcovich wrote in his famous book, he used to talk about that, how you always keep the tension on the pawn chain, you try to break it down, and when he plays c4, he releases the pressure and gives white a free hand. Let's try Knight F3 here. So do you play any FIDE tournaments, or you mainly playing online? Let's try this bishop c4 move here. E6. This was some line from Jordan Van Forest actually played this. Yes, that's good. One thing about your repertoire, you should try to make consistent choices. If you play the advance against the Caro-Kann, it makes a lot of sense to play it against the French too. That's one thing I'm not sure if too many people have if too many people are consistent with their repertoire. I have fellow French defense players. Guys, I will have to bring that back in my games too, so don't worry, I may join you at some point. A6, quite a strange move. A strange move. People play some strange moves these days. What's up if I play e5 and question his knight? Ah,
Artlist.io.
that was actually a quite smart idea he had there. He tricked me with that. Ha. Yeah, that's a known motive. Bishop f1.
Music licensing.
This is a good
reimagined.
version of the French defense. I guess you can play 97. I won't be able to play d4. Can I play some gambit? d4, c d4, knight d4, knight takes 5.
Artlist.io.
Can I play c3 and d4? Looks a little bit slow, but in this structure with his knight on d7, he actually doesn't have too much pressure against the pawn
Music
center.
licensing reimagined.
It might seem a little bit slow, but my rook. But his plan here, he would get some f6, which is not too bad for him. Yeah, he's gonna cast to play f6. Black should equalize. He plays c4. What do we know about that move? Shouldn't be too good, right?
Artlist.io.
Yeah, I want like bishop f4, knight d2, some point get h4. However, maybe bishop f4, maybe he wants to play this g5. Quite aggressive.
Music licensing.
Chicken, do I have some nice ideas? Yeah, b3 is gonna play b5. But I don't think it makes any big sense to challenge him on that side. Let's play knight d2. Yeah, bishop f4, I'm a little bit worried about g5. Although maybe that's nothing, g5, and I just move.
Artlist.io.
Let's try g3. Let's try it. I'm not scared of g5. g5 now.
Music licensing
Take with the knight. He has to give, once he gives up the dark squared bishop. Just kind of take this hit. It's quite strange here. Queen g5. Knight f3. It's a little bit strange play. Now, to be honest, I have to be careful because if he plays knight f8, knight g6, the whole position is blockaded. Yeah, knight f8, if I allow knight f8, knight g6, I should be able to place a knight on f6. What if he manages to castle
Music
queenside?
licensing reimagined.
Knight f3 takes, knight f8. I'm not sure if he has time to organize that. Let's see, knight f3, hg, fg, knight f8, knight h2. Maybe he has some knight h7. Let's try this. I could play g6 also, but usually you can never go wrong with developing a piece. Takes.
Artlist.io.
We ain't gonna get mated on no h file. His pieces are too far for something like that to happen. Yeah, that's a very good tournament. You could check it out here. It's quite relaxed on the different sections.
Music licensing
The tournament
reimagined.
itself is at a beachside resort. So I might Here he's immediately gonna go to queen c7 castles, no knight f8. Can I misjudge that one? But let's try to surprise him. Let's just play g6. Because now f takes bishop g5. And who's attacking who? Could be quite interesting. But I don't want him to castle queenside. Yes, internet. The internet is good today. Yeah, but if your goal is to reach a national master, it's definitely doable. I coached one student. I don't know if you heard about him. Maybe you can Google him. He did very well. His name is Andrew Yesselson. He played like the NATO American, like the NATO chess championship, and his starting rank was like 80. And we did a training camp in Serbia, and he did very well. He ended up placing in the top 11, and his starting rank was 80. He did very, very well. So it's definitely possible. And he's not such a young person. He's in his 30s. So a lot of people would say, it's too old for improvement. And he ain't gonna castle. This guy, we ain't gonna allow him to castle. The queen c2, knight e7, bishop e7, king e7, queen g6. He's gonna play rook g8. And my queen doesn't have any more checks. Queen c2. Have to be careful. Maybe you want some funny business here. I like queen c2. It's definitely very clear my intentions here. I see what he wants. He can't castle queen side because of my bishop. But I told him, man, you could see the article. He came out in the Washington Post. His name was Andrew Yesselson. We had a training camp and 2 weeks in Serbia. Not only chess, but we trained him in all ways of life. Did very well and was very, very happy. And the tournament showed right after. So usually all my students have quite good results. Bishop. Thinking some knight h4. I have to be careful as you have no knight takes d4. I don't want something like that to come as a surprise. It would be unpleasant. Surprise. I could play this. Knight d4, I actually have queen f2. I mean, I believe I can still take cd4. Yeah, I'm gonna play queen f2 next anyways. Queen f2, queen f6. Oh, in fact, I'm more than halfway solving that book, Mr. Brian Levy. I've been working on that. That's a nice book. However, it might be a little bit too difficult for you. It's quite a difficult book. Many candidates and FIDE masters complain. They say the book's too difficult. Knight g6, rook g8 he wants. Playing Karpov style. We ask a simple question. What does the opponent want to play? Now, a lot of times the opponent has no smart idea. But sometimes he does have a smart idea. So we have to ask ourselves, what does this guy want to play here? So knight g6. He wants queen h7 too. Queen h7. My queen is pinned. That's not too good. And I'm thinking, can I play some bishop h3? Because my knight on h4 is quite solid. Maybe there's some rook h5, and that could be a little bit unpleasant. Do I try some bishop f6? Thinking. Let me try bishop f6, see where his rook is going. If he plays rook h5, I can gain some tempo with bishop e2. Man, this bishop is quite cutting the board quite nicely. Maybe you play rook g8, try it again, g5. And you see a way to get out after his king. You play a little faster. Here's one thing here. I should get my knight f6. That was the piece that needed to go there. Knight g2, knight g3, knight g4. Hold up, guys. Let me try to solve this one here. Let's try knight g2. I don't see any reason for my knight to be on h1st. Kind of stupid square. Knight f1st, one idea. Knight f4, bishop h3.
Artlist.io.
Ain't no way a mate is coming on the h file. Don't play knight e3. Can't play rook h8. I'll just take it.
Music licensing.
Really was supposed king to d7 and try some shenanigans. I definitely need to organize a nice counter attack here. So you see, we choose a plan, stick with it. It's chess, you spend a lot of time and the game gets harder when you alternate plans. I'm happy you can play some rook h8 on many funny business like that. Now bishop g2 would be a move of interest, otherwise known as a move we want to play.
Music licensing.
You could go in the end game with queen h2. There's no reason to play that. Yeah, why would we trade queens? I mean, dominant positions, pieces are bad. Trading queens will only help him escape the position. Just need to play a little faster.
Artlist.io.
All right. Let's bring knight f5. Quite a solid idea. I believe now we have to take this in. I don't want to allow the knight f5 is remaining. Knight on d7 is not too well. Let's bring his king out. Bring his king out for sure. I see you guys have some questions. I'll answer them for sure, but just give me a second here. Especially I need to calculate some lines. You know, we're not in these acrobats in the circus can juggle and do many things, but I can do only one thing at a time, guys. King f6. It's no big difference. Rook e6 is not working. Queen f2.
Reimagined.
Huh. So, Mr. Bray, explain me what you mean by your problem when you play, you mentally cannot think through the game. What do you mean by that? What exactly do you mean?
Artlist.io.
So Brian Levy says if you don't play, you don't feel like you're in good form. Yeah, some people are like that, you know. If you don't play well, feel like you're in bad form. Yeah, now his king is a little bit safe.
Music licensing reimagined.
Mm-hmm. Hey, let's play rook h8. How do I enter my queen in any position? Hey, he wants to play rook h8. I was trying an idea, king f2, rook h1, but the position is in different waters here for sure.
Music licensing reimagined.
His bishop is quite bad. You know, his king takes the pawn is Position's quite open. There's no threat against my king. Even rook h8, queen h2, king f2. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. Queen h2, king f2. I guess he wants rook h3, but he can. Queen e6 is a big threat. Alright, let's go queen e5. Have some good counterplay of my own.
Music licensing reimagined.
We'll see how he's gonna solve these threats. Funny, after queen h2, king f2, rook h1 is threatening to trap the queen. I believe I could play the... Do I have bishop d5? Something like that. No, bishop... I don't believe so. I'm not sure if I have something decisive here.
Music licensing reimagined.
Well, f7. Queen takes, rook f1. Wins the queen. It's easy to miss that, but it looks like we found it. Let's stay focused to put them away. One problem I don't... queen and queen f2, king f2, king f2. Oof, what's this?
Music licensing reimagined.
Oof. What did we get ourselves into? Missed something here for sure.
Artlist.io.
What's this?
Music
Yeah, that went out there.
Reimagined.
Yeah, this was... Yeah, queen c8. Took that too fast. Simply queen c5. And rook h8 is coming to... Rook h1 is coming to trap the queen.
Artlist.io.
Yeah. Completely forgot this queen didn't have anywhere to go on rook f7. Alright, so you guys had some questions.
Music licensing.
Oh, so you said Bray says when you watch other people play chess, you feel like playing chess. Yeah, that's a good rule. One game, then analyze. Huh. Yeah, I guess you have some problems with focusing, Bray. That's a big problem in chess. Some people don't realize that, especially in the world today with all these cell phones, all this technology, you know, our brain is hard to sit down and focus on something for a long time. And a lot of people you can see on his YouTube reels, on his very short form content, and it's affected how the human brain is able to focus and concentrate. So that's why definitely you need to I think you need to spend some, what I would recommend for you if you have problem focusing, you need to start slowly. You need to sit down and you need to clear out all distractions when you want to study. So make sure, of course, no music, just the chessboard in front of you. Make sure your desk is nice and clean. So the only thing you literally see is the chessboard. Some people, they study on the chessboard and they have like some mess on the side. They have like some books, they have the computer there. It's harder to focus like that. You need just to see the chessboard in front of you. You could take some deep breaths in. You could walk around, calm yourself, and then you could try to focus in. But let me tell you, some people have that problem. Maybe you could try some things like ginkgo or try drink some coffee or something as well. Some people try that. So Mr. Luis Flores, he asked me a question here. What made me decide to become or I guess a chess player here? Mr. Brian, that's an interesting point. Now let me tell you, chess does demand a lot of energy, so you have to eat very well. In fact, more than usual. It takes a lot of energy from the brain and the body. So usually when I'm not playing a tournament, I don't eat like anything crazy. But when you play a tournament, you especially at the master level, after you finish playing that game, you feel like very hungry, like we're extremely hungry. That's because chess takes a lot of energy. So make sure you're eating healthy and well. Stay away from some unnatural sugars. Maybe that could be affecting your brain as well. I'm not too sure. But you could do an investigation and try to go one by one. So Mr. Luis Flores, so I decided to become and pursue chess. I don't know, I guess I started at the age of 12. I quite like the game. I like all the possibilities. It's a challenge. And I really like that you could always learn something new. So there's no end where you stop learning. I like that, every day. Even at my level, growing up, there's so many things to be learned. There's so many, some idea, even maybe less. For example, I would see one idea every day and say, wow, I didn't know that. And, learn that, put that in my arsenal of ideas. And generally, chess is very healthy for the brain. So I recommend it to anyone. There's a very nice game. Like some people do some other jobs where they sit in the office and, that's for some people. For chess, at least, you work in your brain the whole day. It's very stressful for some people as well. So that's one thing you have to be careful of, especially tournament play. However, for me, it was quite good. Let me read here. Some of you guys asked some questions here. Alright, so but as I said, guys, some important abilities in chess. So Brian, you said you wanted to maybe put an endgame study. You wanted to put a puzzle, so that would be you could send me the puzzle. I'm a little bit tired, but we'll go ahead. Give me the hardest puzzle you have. I'll give it a try. So Mr. Luis Flores, we haven't set that up as yet, but I do sell courses on Chessable, and we have five courses on Chessable. So if you want to improve your game while supporting the best chess author out there from the Caribbean, you definitely could get one of my Chessable courses, and you'll learn a lot as well. I have Chessable courses against Sicilian. I have Chessable courses with white against Sicilian, Scotch Gambit for white. I have a course on how I became IM, the entire journey and steps. So if you want to become IM too and want to know how the insights behind that, I have a very good course, so you can check it out on Chessable. And I have some other courses on preparation and psychology. But Mr. Bray, you said, these problems with focusing and so on. I actually think my course on Chessable on preparation and psychology might be perfect for you. Because a lot of people don't write about that. But that course was quite a nice course. Going into the aspect, not many people talk about psychology, about the growth mindset, about concentration. Those are some very important aspects. In fact, I could say at the tournament, high level is half of the battle. Concentration, focus, confidence, and being able to, just sit down and maintain that for the entire game. Alright, Mr. Solomon, send me the notation of the game here. You could do that now. You all could go ahead and send it in, no problem. I mean, you could do that now. I mean, we had a Brian sent in his game here. We have Mr. Solomon wants to send it in here. Go ahead. Send out the notation because YouTube does not allow links. So you'll go ahead and send the notation in one message so I could perhaps copy it. Yes, in fact, I was reading Mark Deveretzky's book and he was talking about how concentration is a big aspect. Not many people actually talk about that, but that's very important because your brain works completely different when you see a position and suggest a move in 1 minute, and when you really sit down and become one with the position and go in depth. So definitely concentration, I would say, is one of the most important aspects in chess. You have to be able to sit down and concentrate. It's a hard skill. As I said, in the world today, with all these fast-paced movements and technology, it's becoming harder and harder to concentrate. You imagine sitting down at the chessboard, want to study, but then your phone's getting notifications, somebody disturbing you, and all of that. So Bray sent in a game here. I will check that out. And I was waiting for you. Where did you send it, Solomon? Which app?
Music licensing reimagined.
Which app are you talking about, Solomon? What chess app message? Is it on chess.com? Did you send it? Guys, maybe it's better send me the message on chess.com, guys. Send me the message on chess.com. It's easier for me. Just add me on chess.com and send me the game there. That would be much easier for me to get the game there. Alright. Let me check. Maybe somebody messaged me on chess.com. No, I don't see any messages here.
Music licensing reimagined.
I'm playing on chess.com, but I don't see it. I'm playing on chess.com here, but I don't see it, my friend. Are you sure you sent me on chess.com? Maybe I can check that out actually, Mr. Lewis, but thank you very much for the suggestion. Because I'm a bit new to this YouTube. I mean, we're doing some videos for some time, but I actually don't know too well. Let me take a note of that actually. That could be I'm not sure how these things work. I never heard for that, to be honest. But thank you for letting me know. I didn't know about that. I'll definitely write it down. But if you want to have a game, if you play chess and you want your game analyzed, you send it now. Here we have a couple guys sending in the game. I'll write that down my coffee. So I definitely have to set that up, guys. Because we have an important journey here. A lot of people, you come to the stream and you know me as International Master Alan Safar Ramoutar. Yeah, may have to refresh, Solomon. But we're on a journey to become a Grandmaster. And I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, and we've never had a Grandmaster from the English-speaking Caribbean. And it's going to be, we don't have any support from any chess federation here. So that's why a lot of people, we don't have too much tournaments or any support here from any chess federation in the Caribbean. They prefer to do other things. So we're trying to be the highest rated player from the entire English speaking Caribbean, and we want to become the first Grandmaster. Now it's not an easy way to get there. It's going to take some time and some resources. But that's why I appreciate the support from everyone here. And as we know, we have my courses on Chessable. So if anybody wants some specific courses to improve your game, you check that out in the YouTube description here. Oh, I have to write that down. It's Luis. Alright, thank you for the correct. Are you sure that's a reliable one? This one, do you know some people who use that? Because I never heard about it. It's good to have something reliable and so on. I know some people use this Patreon. I'm not sure Do you know what's the difference between that and Patreon? I'm not sure, but I heard like people use Patreon. I'm not too sure, but if you know and let me know, that'd be quite good. But yeah, we're trying to go to the Grandmaster level, and we don't have any. It's a family effort here. We don't have any support outside of the family. Alright, so let's see here. I got some games here. Alright, guys. So we'll check them out. Let's start up here. So Mr. Louis says a lot of streamers use it. Patreon. Okay, that's good. I'll check that out then. Maybe I don't have too much knowledge about these things, but yeah, we need to check that out here. Mr. Solomon sent a game here. So check this out. Huh? But Mr. Solomon, this is some Grandmaster here, man. This can't be you.
Music licensing reimagined.
You send me the game about. Is this your game? Or what's going on here? Oh, is it? Oh, it's not your game, you. Interesting. How do I get set up on Kick? Is that easy? I don't know. You see, because guys, I stream on YouTube only for now. I'm not too sure how that works with this. I know this Twitch and this Kick. I don't know if it doesn't make sense to go and start streaming on Kick. I'm not sure what's the audience there, how easy it is to set that up, and how many people are there. I'm not too sure. Okay, you want me to see this game? Huh. Wow, so this game was played by a Grandmaster from Latvia, Nikita Meshkos. D4, huh? Wow, this is the first time I'm seeing this move in this position here. They usually quite a rare move. Takes. Huh. This is like a Scotch gambit with the bishop on b5, a6, bishop a4, bishop e7, kicked him with e5, knight e4, knight d4.
Music licensing reimagined.
Already here, it looks always a little bit scary with the knight coming to f5. Let me think, how would I respond with black here? So knight d4, knight f5 looks a bit scary. Knight takes e5. Maybe he's scared of this pin here with rook e1. Yeah, piece will get lost there. If he castled here, yeah, maybe castle is just the most natural move here. Knight d4 again. The problem with this knight, knight c5. White does maintain some compensation. He has lead in development. Let's see what was played though. Knight c5, knight f5 was quite aggressive. Ooh, bishop f8. Guess after castles, queen g4 does look quite intimidating. But that's quite a strange move, bishop f8. I don't know how someone could play the rook e1. Ah, wow. 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 He just gave the bishop. Queen g4. Huh. Wow, why is playing really brilliant here. Guys, but maybe Twitch and YouTube, maybe what if I just continue here on YouTube? But you see the one problem with streaming on multiple platforms, I can't focus on all the chats at the same time. For example here, I'm reading the YouTube chat and I'm reading YouTube chat. But if I'm streaming on both Twitch and YouTube at Kick at the same time, then I mean, how am I going to see all those chats? Especially if there's more people there. I like this for now with YouTube. I may consider Twitch and Kick, but guys, you have to remember that I'm also studying chess quite a lot, so I'm not fully in this YouTube things. This is a part-time thing. Once I get the Grandmaster title, we'll have much more time, of course. Queen G4, wow. Attacking the knight on A4. The main reason why I stream on YouTube is basically to keep in contact and community with the subscribers. Because who subscribe wants to watch, you know what I mean? Wow, this Queen G4, Knight C5. Oh. Wow, this Knight C5. Bishop G5. Could have taken Knight G7, but Bishop E7. Queen G7. Knight C3. Wow. This is like Paul Murphy. 96. Knight D5. Giving the queen. This is probably the best game I saw for a long time. And Knight G7. Wow. Takes. Queen H7 and Knight D6. Huh. And this was a really very good game. Where did you find this game? Wow, this is a really very nice game. I'm quite impressed. I'm quite impressed by this game. What do you all think about this game? Wow. So let's see some other games here. So we have someone here, his profile pictures a soldier who looks like he's been through the wars. Okay. So were you white or black? Were you white or black in this game, bro? Oh, hello, my friend. So E4, E6. So you must be black because you play the French defense. Let me flip the board here. Now I flip the board on Chester. Come. You flip the board with X. Ah, you watched it live in the watch section. But yeah, that was quite a good game. He gave up the queen twice. Yeah, I didn't. Probably I missed out at some point. I was too amazed by the ideas. So we had the French defense here. E5, E5. Knight F3. Knight F6. So here black has several systems here. There's the aggressive system with Knight C6. Where black generally wants like Bishop G4 or Bishop E6 and Queen D7 on castles. Usually here if you're playing a lower rated opponent, this is quite a good option. And white here has Bishop B5 as the main move here, but this gets a little bit theoretically intense, like Bishop D6, there's these lines with C4, D4, D5. But it's actually quite good for black if you know the line. A6, Bishop A4, B5 is the line, takes BA4, white castles, but black using time with 97 here. This is a good line here, this Bishop E6. But you could probably investigate this as a secondary option here. I think this Knight C6 is quite fun. White here also has this modern move, Knight C3. This was actually played by Richard Rapport first time here. It's a funny waiting move, it's waiting on black, like if Knight F6 here, now white is playing again Bishop E5. A strange kind of system here. And if white plays like Bishop D3, then black goes, as we know, this Bishop G4. And he goes quite aggressive, even after C3. So you got this Queen F6 here. And this castle queen side. So there's one option here. Knight F6, you play symmetrical. Bishop E2 is very strange by white. I mean, usually they put the bishop on D3. Yeah, Richard Rapport, I don't know, he actually lives in Serbia, in the capital Belgrade. Bishop D6. c6,
Music licensing
h6.
reimagined.
This guy's playing very strange. Bishop f5, very good. So yeah, you finish the first phase of the game, you completed your development, all the pieces out. So we could be happy here. Wow, a3 is quite this guy is playing weird. I mean, strange. So you're playing very logically, very good. Who before? Man, this guy is playing garbage. This guy is playing garbage. Bishop b8. Okay, man. I don't like this move to be honest. I don't like this move. You're closing the rook on a8. And it's not guaranteed to have some queen c7 or queen h2 mate. Now, you have a healthy position here. All the pieces are in the game. The rook on 8 is not in the game, but okay, it can come in the game for now. So what I would think here, how can I push forward my good pieces here, make some targets, make some threats? I mainly don't like this moves. We saw the game from Brian where his opponent had a rook that was out of the game. And I know you want queen c7, you want some mate, however, if I look at the position from here, nothing is guaranteed. Even if queen c7 here, I'm not threatening queen h2 mate. But the idea, okay, I guess you found a fancy idea. There's no need to play fancy chess. I mean, the move 94 is quite good. 94 takes, even if he takes d4 now. This is another story because now you got away the defender. Because knight is gone. But still, I won't play bishop b8. I would play knight f6 and bishop c7 with the idea queen d6. I'll keep my rooks connected here. And again, the pawn on e4 as we saw. So the thing about chess, a lot of intertwined teams. We saw the team from Brian's game that you see he had this pawn on e4. It's like a real bone in the throat. And this pawn really enables a kingside attack. Plus, you played bishop b8. Yeah, you see now white is opening the position here. Queen will get some trouble. But what does this guy do? What is he playing this passive rook e1? I ain't like how this guy is playing. Queen b3. Queen b3 looks interesting, but he wants to defend this bishop here. I saw she's not 100% clear for black here. I mean, black is still a little bit better. After rook e1, it was a very nice move actually. This bishop h3, gh3, and rook e3. Wow. Now your idea would have worked because he didn't see it. And the guy is just gonna get mated. I mean, knight g4 and whoo. No, the bishop is coming. Now the bishop is coming. But yeah, unfortunately, he didn't see that knight e4. But yeah, he didn't play good. So again, the bishop b8, it worked out in practice. Now that's one thing about some of our ideas. Sometimes we play an idea that's not necessarily the best. However, it ends up working out in practice, and then we're like, oh, it worked out brilliantly. Our idea was good. But objectively, 94 is clearly the best move. So we play 94 now. So again, a kind of mixing of ideas. Because this queen c7, bishop b8 does look like it wants to threaten these ideas. Knight f1. Knight f6, okay, bring in your pieces. Again, you could have played this very nice idea. Like, I like these beautiful position ideas. Knight c3, you grab the light squared bishop, you take on c4, and then a very nice maneuver. Bishop e6. Very funnily, you might want to put the bishop on d5, and now your both bishops are pointing this way. This reminds me of Laskar's famous double bishops. So here, rook e1. Yeah. Knight f6, queen e7. So now you want to play bishop h3, but unfortunately you didn't see it when it was working. a4, a5. Yeah, now it's not so clear. Yeah, now it's not looking too good. He could have played b6, and after bishop b8, your queen has no squares to join in the attack now. And rook is out of the game. In fact, black is worse here. Black doesn't have a productive way to start any play. Takes. King h8. Looks like a quite fancy move. What do you want? Rook g8, g5, g4, guns blazing. Swashbuckler kind of attack. Not too sure. I like that. But now you got him, he took, and you got bishop h3. Yeah, this should be winning for black. You definitely could need to get rook e6, rook g6 is one idea. I think this is decisive. Rook e6. You wanna move the knight and rook g6. I don't know how he's stopping that. Knight could go to h5, rook g6. That would have been winning. He played like this. Knight g4 still. This is winning. How do we make a draw here? Knight g3. Oof, yeah, you made a draw here. However, knight h2. Knight f3 is coming in. This is winning the game. How is he gonna stop knight f3? Oof, yeah, knight f3 he's gonna have to lose his queen. Now he has to play something like f4 and just take your check. You have a lot of pawns and a piece. Yeah, this would have been winning. So unfortunately, you missed your chance there. But quite an interesting game. I mean, the main point of analyzing our games is to learn from them, not to see if we played fancy or not. Whew, I'm quite tired, guys, but friend sent me a study. Yeah, I guess I works when the time is low. King and pawn endgame. What's this? What is this? Guys, let's try to solve this together.
Music licensing reimagined.
So what is up a pawn must double? So usually I try improving my king first. King h2. I have no idea what's going on with any tournaments in Trinidad. I don't follow that. I'm not too sure. Give me a more appropriate one, my friend. This one looks like... I mean, I could solve it, but, I don't want the stream to be... Not to just if it's just me sitting down and silent for 10 to 15 minutes. Because, generally when you're solving puzzles, it's not too good to be talking. So it might not be too interesting for people here. I said another one, Mr. Brian. Say another one. What's it about? Let's look at King h2, King g4. One idea. f3. King g5. King h3. King h2, King g4, f3. King g5, King h3. Guess what if you plays f5. f5.
Music licensing reimagined.
I plays f5. Plays f5. I can play. I can move my king, or I can play f4, g4. If I play f4, then he's gonna play king h5, stopping g4. If I play, maybe I can solve this one actually, Brian. Maybe I think I can solve this. Maybe I can actually solve this. So king h2, I believe the critical move is king g4, stopping the king f3, king g5, king h3, f5, f4, king h5. Cannot play g4, fg4, king g3, h6 he has to play to hold on to his pawn. Here he plays h6. Now, if I play f5, he plays king g5. So I don't know if you guys are following along with me. But yeah, I was looking at king h2, king g4, f3, king g5, king h3, f5, F4, King H5, G4, F, G4, King G4.
Music licensing
Sorry,
reimagined.
G4, King G3, H6. So if he didn't have that tempo, it would be an easy win. But he has his tempo H6. So I'm not thinking, can that position still be winning? I don't believe so. If I play King F2, he just plays King G6, King F5. That's not winning. No. If I play F5, he plays King G5. It's gonna win my pawn. And that definitely is not winning. So maybe the idea of the study is again to lose a tempo somewhere to get a similar position. I mean, Brian, I can try to solve this. But I don't know if it's interesting for you guys here to hear me just calling out moves and trying to solve a very difficult puzzle. Alright, King H2, King G4 is what I'm analyzing. There is funny ideas in these king and pawn and games like triangulation. I have to check if I can play like King H2, King G1, King H1, then King H2. I'm not sure. I have to check that out. Alright, I'll check the other one you said. But I must say, it does look quite interesting.
Music licensing reimagined.
I didn't get yet. Are you sure you sent it on chess.com? It didn't come yet. Did you send it on chess.com, Brian? I'm not seeing it. Okay, I got it here. Let me here do code analysis. I have to make sure this stupid engine is turned off. I definitely don't want that to spoil our puzzle. Game, very good. So yes, white to move here, okay. This one looks more like what I'm accustomed seeing. So everything was a threat of black. C1 is not threat, king takes. Yeah, there's no visible stalemate ideas for black. It's one thing to get out of the way. So his main idea could be simply B3.
Music licensing reimagined.
If I play rook h8, he wants the queen. Take on c2. Take on g2. We're gonna get this one, guys. We're gonna solve this. So it's white to move, guys. So if you don't hear from me for a few minutes, I'm trying to solve this puzzle here. Alright. Let me just focus here, guys. Give me some time to focus.
Music licensing reimagined.
Okay.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io.
Yeah, so I've seen some ideas. I'm trying to piece together exactly correct move order.
Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.
He wants to play b3 next.
Artlist.io.
I definitely need to get my study cap on.
Music licensing reimagined.
Alright guys, well, it's taking a little bit longer than expected, my friend. Should have been less than 5 minutes, but perhaps I didn't see the idea. Yeah, sometimes if I don't see the idea, the puzzles could take some time. I still haven't seen the full idea yet.
Artlist.io.
Let me search. So I'll take it through my thought process here. So I see black wants to play b3. I was looking at rook e2, b3, and some move like rook e4, but I see he can play rook b1. And after that, I'm checking. Here, rook b1, then. Huh. Wait. Maybe shall rook e2. Rook e2, b3. Maybe it's not rook e4, but something along the lines of rook e2, b3. Rook e4. Whether he plays c1 takes rook h2, rook a4 is mate. So rook e2, b3, rook e4, rook b1. I can play king c3. I can play king c3, can't play c1. But after king a3, I can't play rook a4 mate. So perhaps it's not rook e4. Perhaps it's rook e6. Let's see. Rook e2, b3. Hey, what's he gonna do? Rook e2? I mean, he has to pass. I can't play rook b1. We take. So rook e2, b3. What if I play rook e6? Gain of c1, check. King c1. Rook h2. Rook a6 is mate. So rook e2, b3, rook e6, rook b1. They play king c3. We're threatening mate with rook a6. King a3, rook a6 is mate. King a1 also is mate. He can't play c1, so he has to move his rook. So he plays. Let's say he moves his rook somewhere like rook d1. I play rook a6 check. So I'm trying to figure out where's the right place for the rook to be in these checks. Maybe it's not on a6, but rook a6, king b1. Okay. So he wants to play c1, queen now, which is a big threat. I see the idea finally. So after like king b1, I have to play. What is it? You have to play like some rook c2. No, wait.
Music licensing reimagined.
I saw the idea. I need to see 1 second.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.
I saw some idea where his king is on A1, my rook is on the B file, and I sacrifice the rook with rook C2, B C2, king C2, attacking the rook on D1, and coming threatening to give mate on the A file. I have to see exactly 100% how I'm going to do that. Huh. I see the I'm trying to just figure out the first move. If it's rook E2, B3. I'm checking this rook E6, and I believe the main line is. You said he also has king B1 as an idea. Huh. Rook E2, B3, rook E6, rook B1, king C3.
Artlist.io.
King C3, rook D1. Man, this feels like king C3, rook D1. I can just play rook C2, B C2,
Music licensing.
king C2 in that position. So the main line, that shouldn't be a big problem. That's true, bro. That's true. So rook E2, B3, rook E6, king B1. That can't be king B1. Actually, could be king B1. C1 is coming to check. Ooh, after king B1. Quite a powerful threat. If rook E2, B3, rook E6 has king B1, that's very powerful.
Music licensing reimagined.
Yeah, I usually do some studies, at least studies are some specific type of puzzles. Rook E2, B3.
Artlist.io.
If rook E4, king B1. C1 is the threat.
Music licensing reimagined.
We don't seem able to start at rook E2, B3, and if I move rook E6, king B1.
Artlist.io.
Yeah, rook E2, B3. I must stop king B1, it's true.
Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io.
Oh.
Music licensing reimagined.
Some of the ideas harder to find any actual calculation. Rookie 2, B3, we need stop king B1. Rookie 2, B3 if I play. Rookie 1, he'll just play C1 check. King C1, Rook H2. If I play Rook H1, also same thing.
Music licensing reimagined.
How do we stop King B1, Rook E2, B3? I'm definitely missing something. Rook E2, B3.
Artlist.io.
Huh. This
Music licensing reimagined.
is quite strange. Rook E2, B3. I don't know what's going on here. Rook E2, B3. B3.
Artlist.io.
Wow.
Music licensing reimagined.
Yeah, Rook E4 looks like Rook E2 is not working. I went wrong from the start, that was the problem. I went on this wrong line with stupid Rook E2. Let me solve it here, guys. Don't worry. King C1, B3.
Artlist.io.
Oh, guys, don't tell me it's just very simple. Don't tell me it's King C1, B3, Rook C2. King C, don't listen to that. Rook C1, King C1, B3, Rook C2. He has some stalemate idea, to be fair. King C1, B3, Rook C2. If he takes with the Rook, just Rook C2, B C2, King C2. And of course, King A3, King C3, King A4, King C4, King A5, King D5. That's quite easily winning. King C1, B3, Rook C2, B C2. If I play Rook C2, he has King A1 with Rook B2, and that's stalemate. So that's funny. So King C1, B3, Rook C2, B C2 he has to play. And if I take Rook C2, He has king a1.
Licensing reimagined.
Yeah, interesting. King a1, and now he wants to escape with his rook. Let me check. Maybe I can continue that with some rook c6. Let's do everything else. King c1, b3, rook c2, bc2. It's pretty much forced to take rook c2. Yeah. Rook c2, king a1. I can't take rook b2. Rook c3 is stupid. You just play king a2.
Reimagined.
What's rook c6? Rook c6 makes some sense. So if king a2, I just have rook a6. Check. Rook c6. Yeah, I want to play rook a6. He can't play rook a2. Rook b1 is mate. So he has to play rook b1 check. King c2. Rook b2 check. King c3. What idea does he have now? Because I want to at least take on f6. That rook and pawn endgame could be winning. So king c1, b3, rook c2, bc2, rook c2, king a1. And now seemingly rook c6 is quite logical. Then he plays rook b1 check. And king c2, rook b2. If I play king c1 as a repetition, so king c3. How could he try to save this? I guess he can try. What if he plays rook f2? Just give the pawn. I should be winning rook f6. Yeah, I mean that should be winning, honestly. King is far. So what would he play?
Artlist.io.
No, is there any?
Music licensing
There's no
reimagined.
me still miss either. Rook is on c6.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.
Trying to see how we can try to put up a defense here. That's true. Yeah, so that rook game would be winning for white. King c1, b3, rook c2, king a1. Yeah. That's better first.
Music licensing reimagined.
King C1, B3.
Artlist.io.
What's going on here? Rook C2, King A1.
Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io.
I don't know how he wants to play.
Music
Yeah, King C1, B3, Rook C2, King A1. Now he wants to play Rook B1. Rook B1. He wants to take the rook first of all. So what happens? Let's see if we play some Rook C4, for example.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.
Yeah, if I play now Rook E2, he takes. Plays B2 check.
Artlist.io.
Hold on. Hold up. So King C1, B3, Rook C2,
Music
King A1,
licensing reimagined.
Rook to E2, Rook, Rook takes, B2. Can I play King D2, B1, Queen, and Rook to E1? Well, that's winning. So King C1, B3, Rook C2,
Artlist.io.
King A1, Rook back to E2, Rook back to E2. So if he plays Rook E2, B2, I can play king d2, b1, and rook to e1.
Music licensing.
So rook e1, king
reimagined.
e1, king b2, king b2. So here king c1, b3, rook c2, king a1, rook back to e2. Does he have any other moves? And if he plays rook b1, check, I just move king d2. But does he have any other try? So king c1, b3, rook c2, king a1, rook e2. So rook e2, b2. We play king d2, b1, queen, and rook to e1. Let's see if he has another try instead of rook takes e2. If he plays rook b1, we'll just run with king d2. I don't think there's anything to see. So maybe he has rook c2. Check. The idea is rook c2. He'll play b2. Check. King d2. b1 queen.
Music licensing reimagined.
I believe I'm getting there. Yeah, that's what I said with this rook e1 in the end. Yeah, there's king c1, bc2. Yeah, after rook c2, he may have another move. He has rook c2 check. I'm looking at that. We can't put. But it's very funny because at the start of the puzzle, I went in a completely wrong direction. I completely forgot I could sacrifice the rook. So king c1, b3, rook c2,
Music licensing
king
reimagined.
a1, rook ce2, rook c2, check. If I take rook c2, he's going to play b2 check. If I take that stalemate, if I play king d1, he queens would check. Rook c1, he could take stalemate. And if he queens, if I take b2 check, king d2, he queens. Let's see if I have some winning rook maneuver here.
Music licensing reimagined.
He had do I not have rook h4 in the end? So king c1, b3, rook c2, king a1, rook c2, rook c2, rook c2, b2, king d2, b1 queen. No, sorry. King c1, b3, rook c2, king a1, rook ce2,
Music licensing
rook c2 check, rook takes c2, b2, king d2, b1 queen, and rook to h4. Rook h4. I want rook a4 mate. He can move his king, and if he moves his queen, I just come back and win his queen with check. I believe that's it. I believe that's it. So after b1, rook h4, he can't sacrifice his queen anyway. Won't be any stalemate. And he can't stop rook a4 mate. He can't stop both rook h1 and rook a4
Music
with his queen.
licensing reimagined.
Yeah. I believe that looks like it to me. So after king d2, b1, queen, rook h4. King is on a1. That looks like it to me. After that rook. He has queen before check actually. He has queen before check. He has queen before check. He has queen before check. And that's stalemate again. Completely forgot we covered before, but he can give his queen there.
Music licensing reimagined.
We can play rook h1 after b1 queen, rook h1, queen h1, and rook c1. And queen takes, king takes. That's it. Yeah, 100%. That's it. So king c1. Put on what? King c1, b3, rook c2, rook c2, rook c2, takes b2, queen, and finally this. Now, looking at it now is not the most difficult one, but to be honest, these ideas are kind of tricky. So it's more about finding the ideas rather than any precise calculation. Yet the one thing I don't like about some studies is that if you don't find the idea, you're in big problems. You can calculate it well, but if you don't find the idea, you could sit down on a position for more than 30 minutes. It's happened to me many times. Like some studies I solve in 5 minutes, and some I don't see the idea at the beginning. You go down the wrong branch, and then it ends up taking more than 30 minutes. At least finally we got it. It's not a hard one, but it was a tricky one. I would call this a tricky one. Or yeah, the candidate starts soon. Yeah, that's true. That's wow. That's a very good study. A very good study. Wow, that was quite a good one. So yeah, king c1. I don't know why I was looking at this stupid rook c2. I don't know why I was looking at this. I mean, literally, if I even play king b1, he's immediately winning. Yeah, that's why you should check these force moves first. Oh, congratulations, my friend. Very glad you crossed 1800. Keep going. It took a long time to solve it, but we got in the end. But nice one, Brian. That one brought the challenge. Now some streamers don't like to solve any puzzles or anything. They like just to show content where they're winning, but I want to take on the challenge there. We almost didn't solve it. King c1. Yeah, b3 is forced. Yeah, I don't know, guys, but for some reason it took me some time to spot this rook c2. I was looking at immediately some mating ideas, but nothing works. So this was quite clear early on that this is winning for white. So he has only this king a1 and rook ce2. So not rook f2, because then takes b2, and there's no king d2 and rook e2. So rook ce2. Yeah, it was a strange puzzle, to be honest, but this one was not easy. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. The studies, you see, in terms of my training, I'm a little bit mixed about studies. I used to solve them. I used to solve them quite a lot when I was a bit younger.
Music
But I heard from some
licensing
grandmasters, it depends what kind of studies. A lot of studies are not too practical, and they help with like visualization and so on, but some studies are really not practical. But studies could be quite useful as well. I'm still trying to figure out the perfect balance of the training routine, because I don't have 8 hours a day, which I would like to have. But usually when I'm working on this calculation book by R.B. Ramesh, which is this practical, again, game calculation. And I work on the Karpov book, and I have also the Dvoretsky, is recognizing your opponent's resources. So I'm mainly working on those books. It's always never easy saying what's the perfect balance of everything. I guess studies could be useful. I have one big book of studies by Kasparian. It was like with 2,500 endgame domination studies. I solved quite some of them. I'm just not sure practical there. But it could be useful definitely to include them in the training routine. As I said, my routine for now, I would love to have, if I had like 10 or 12 hours a day, that would be perfect routine, honestly. That would be amazing. Yes, that book Domination by Kasparian, I solved some from there. But people have some mixed opinions, as I said, about the study. Some people think it's good skills. Others say that it's not too practical. I actually know a lot of players who, even grandmasters, who didn't really solve any studies. So people train in the different ways. But I honestly did back in the day. I didn't solve it for some time, but back in the day I did solve some studies. Yeah, they're not a bad idea. Not a bad idea, but some of them are not too practical. Like, to be honest here, like if we look at this one here, I guess we could say this one teaches recognizing the opponent's resources, conversion to a winning endgame. So this could be a very practical study, and I guess this one's also useful with visualization and seeing the opponent's resources. So this is quite a good study. But there are a lot of studies that have a lot of crazy studies. Like this one is good. This one is practical one. Like the king and pawn endgame you sent me, that I'm not too sure how practical that would be, for example. Studies definitely are a time-old, very good resource for training.
Music licensing reimagined.
Wow. This one's quite good. I like this one. This one is very good. Okay, all the way till the end. This one was a very nice puzzle. Yeah, so generally, Brian, you see what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to maximize. Ooh. Yeah, that would be hard. You see, the problem, Brian, is if I have only like 5 or 6 hours to train and I spend 90 minutes on one literal position, I don't think that's the best investment of my time to spend down 90 minutes on one position. Although maybe you could argue that 90 minutes of thinking and analysis is not bad. However, as I said, right now I'm training with this Ramesh calculation book. Yeah, I believe you, man. Doesn't look easy. But man, if this easy study give me some troubles. But studies generally are difficult. Studies generally are quite difficult. But yeah, as I said, we need to know how to use our time wisely now. As I said, it would be quite good if I had at least 8 hours a day. That way it would be quite easy to manage my time, and I'd be quite happy with that. But now,
Music licensing reimagined.
in which study? In the tough study, you mean? Yeah, but I'm building my calculation with this Ramesh book I told you about. That's not a bad book at all. You see, let me tell you honestly, guys, here, like with the study here, the problem wasn't the calculation. The problem was the idea. For example, is rook takes c2. Now, it's not that obvious to give back the rook immediately. So maybe I was thinking, I could get some checkmates in net. With the king on, like if you look here, I thought, okay, the king is like a little bit strange here. So the first idea that came to my mind was some sort of checkmating idea that came to my mind. So I was thinking how I could do that. Then I realized that's not possible. Then only after that I realized, I have this idea to sacrifice the rook. So it wasn't necessary about calculation here. But I would say the problem why it took sometimes was that the idea rook takes c2. This honestly took, I would say that took the longest time to find that idea, king c1 and rook c2, which is not a hard idea. But I just missed the idea. I was focused looking for some mates. But in the end, when I saw this here, I calculated that this was winning. I was looking for some resource for black here, but to me it looked like there was nothing. It was correct. And this as we saw, this king a1. This is check. There's nothing. It's king a1. Rook c2. Wow. Quite nice one. Yeah, you said the right idea, and ideas. You see the problem with some position and calculation is if you go down the wrong idea, start calculating the wrong idea or the wrong candidate moves, you could end up just wasting a lot of time. Sometimes it's good to find the idea first in the position. Look, guys, it's been quite a long stream, so I'll be slowly heading out. But yeah, definitely, I'll be honest, it wasn't my best performance at all. I completely missed that rook c2 idea. That I would say that took most of the time. I was aware the stalemate ideas for black, but yes, rook c2 idea somehow slipped. So yeah, it's funny. I was looking at all these wrong ideas and going down calculating, and I'm slowly like, this is not working, and I had to come back from the beginning. So yes, I took the first wrong step, but it's okay. I mean, we eventually solved it in 20 minutes, but alright. So alright, guys, slowly I'll be ending off the stream here. I'm a little bit tired, and I want to be able to read my Karpov book a bit before I go to sleep. So you all let me know, guys, how did you all like the stream today? Was it instructive, guys? Let me know, Mr. Brian, Mr. Bray. How did you all like the stream? Let me know, guys. And I truly appreciate your support and all of that, because really we're trying to make something here, and we building our community and so on, and preparing for my tournaments in spring and summer. Very good, Mr. Bray. I hope you guys are improving. It was a bit longer stream than usual. I didn't plan more than 2 hours, but I don't like to leave any puzzles unsolved, to be honest. So I had to tackle this study that Brian gave, because I can't just get a study and leave it like that. No, I'm usually like that. Like if I start a puzzle, I have to solve it. So we could have stayed until tomorrow, but luckily we solved it. But yeah, today we actually saw some recurring themes in the analysis, with like this pawn on e5 in the advanced Karu and some other positions here. So that was quite good, because usually people could connect it easier. No problem. I enjoyed it. But guys, I'd appreciate if you're like, we're trying to get monetized. So if you all are like not doing anything one day, and there's like a stream or long video of mine, like that's 45 minutes or something that you didn't watch, you could play your phone to run out that watch time, guys. We want to get monetized. We're halfway there with the watch hours. And guys, if you watch as many videos as you could, even if you're not watching it, put the video to play and go do something else. But we really want our watch time to come up, and it would be very good to truly get monetized and to be able to do this YouTube at a higher level and with more support. I have many playlists, my friends, not of streams, but I have, for example, playlists of Against Sicilian Defense, Scotch Gambit. I have a couple of playlists. However, yeah, I have quite a few playlists. I have very instructive videos. I would recommend, I have a very good video, it's not too long ago. Yeah, but the playlist is not too long, so that's the only problem. The playlists are short videos. I did a long video on pawn structures, mastering pawn structures. It was like 45 minutes or so. It's quite a good video, actually. What ideas do you guys have next, actually? Let's talk about that before I go. What I was thinking about, I was thinking one video idea, how to make an opening repertoire, where I would talk about, like, for example, with black, if you play the Caro-Can defense, it's very good to pair it like with the Slav defense, like similar openings, rather than, and if you want to play dynamic chess, you play like the Sicilian Najdorf. If you want to play positional chess, play like the Caro-Can. So guys, I want to get some ideas. Should I make a video on, I'm thinking how to make an opening repertoire is one idea I have for a video. The another idea is how IM calculates, where I like do a profession. Not going to be like this for 20 minutes, but basically I'm going to go over like a puzzle, and where I really went through and I solved it, and I'm going to go through how I really thought and how I was calculating and visualizing. So I think that could be quite that could be interesting. But again, the problem with YouTube is you have to make titles that appeal to people, even those lower level players.
Music licensing reimagined.
But middle game plannings is a wide plan. There are many different aspects here. I guess I could make a video on that. How to plan. Let me write that down if I forget. How to plan chess. Okay. I'll write down these suggestions here. Idea. Maybe how to choose the right plan sounds good. I like that idea, how to choose the right plan. Yeah, so generally the unfortunate thing with YouTube creation is not. I could try to get some general algorithm where people could use. That could be quite useful. There's some like questions you could ask to help middle gameplay, prophylaxis, and so on. But again, as I said, guys, there's a problem with YouTube is, I mean, I would like to just Paul Connon, but they pay a lot of reward to the thumbnail, the title, and the hook of the video to catch people. So we have to put a lot of effort then. I mean, to be honest with you, to me personally, it's not that important, but it's proven on YouTube that if I don't pay attention to a very strong title to catch people's attention, the hooks, and the first 1 minute, the video's not going to do too well. So I have to make it both very instructive video, because then I want to keep up the quality, and I also have to make a very good title, thumbnail. It's not easy, to be honest, guys, but if it's done well, like you could see my last 2 videos, how I became a GM. I mean, how I became an IM, how I became a GM will be soon, and my plan to GM, it did very well. Those 2 videos did very well, and the quality is not anything different from my previous videos. It's just that I focus a lot on the title, thumbnail, and hook. So we put a lot of focus to those. But guys, we really appreciate supporters like you who really come here to the streams. So you can always like, subscribe, even comment on these videos. It really helps. to spread awareness here. Because we're trying out here, and we're trying to give honest kind of improvement tips, evaluation. I mean, guys, what a content creamer is gonna spend like half an hour trying to solve a puzzle? I mean, probably some people, but as I said, guys, we're doing our best here, and we want to keep growing here and eventually get a GM title in a few years. But that's it for me today, guys. I'm a little bit tired and I want to read my cap off. What I'm actually trying to do, the last note, is I want to stream my training sessions live at some point. But I'm thinking it might also disturb me too, because usually when I train I don't talk. So I won't do too much of that, but a couple sessions maybe. I'll figure out how to do that. But alright guys, thank you for tuning in today. Just like, subscribe, and stick around for more and help me get my watch hours up. Take care guys.